Friends, it's truly a historic day when it seems that all of the pressure of the last few weeks, people like yourselves coming out onto the streets in the cold, has finally forced an Irish government to contemplate bringing in legislation of some kind for abortion, even if it is under very restricted circumstances. And I think that that's a testament to the people power, to the anger, and to the pressure that you have been putting on, and it must be kept up. Because the pressure that we put on from here on in will determine what kind of legislation that government is forced to introduce. Most people in this country, beyond question, support legislation for the X case. But I also think most people in this country support a lot more than just legislation for the X case. And I'm absolutely convinced of that as I've spoken to people in the last few weeks. To try to make a false distinction between the life and the health of a woman is absolutely wrong. It cannot and it should not be done. If anything has been shown by what happened to Savita, it is that a gamble obviously took place, that her life was not at risk, when in fact it actually was. And if we stick by X and X alone, we will, as Joe Higgins said earlier, be actually saying it's fine for women to be subjected to thresholds of pain and agony before doctors can intervene. And at the end of it all, they could actually lose their lives. And I don't think that that's acceptable to the majority of people in this country at all. We absolutely have to broaden this debate beyond the X case, because that public consciousness has gone way beyond the X case. This morning on Morning Ireland, Alan Shatter, a senior minister, actually admitted that women who are pregnant become second-class citizens in this country. That if anybody heard him, what he said was that if a woman needs life-saving treatment, she's actually a second-class citizen because she's not guaranteed it, whereas every man in the country would be guaranteed it. You know, and that's an unbelievable statement for a minister to have to make in 2012 in a country that's going to be heading up the presidency of the EU next year. And for the likes of Leo Varadkar to say that a woman who's raped, that in itself wouldn't be a grounds for an abortion, and that every woman would be feigning suicide to get an abortion, I think is absolutely scandalous, and these backwards men and backwards women have to be stopped. Lucinda Creighton et al., I don't know what 30-somethings you represent, but you certainly don't represent the majority in Irish society. Go back to your caves. It's actually incredible that there's such consternation in Fine Gael and even in parts of Labour over contemplating legislation to save a woman's life. That is quite incredible. So to vote every night of the week, to cut respite care for the disabled, to cut home helps, and to cut child benefit in the budget next week is absolutely acceptable. That just shows the absolute hypocrisy. The quality of life of people bringing up children in this country is being attacked and eroded every day of the week, but that's all fine. We'll export the problem and so on and so forth. I believe a majority of the people in this country have gone way beyond where the politicians in there are, and that we must campaign, organise now, in every town and in every city, to broaden out this debate beyond the X case. Welcome as it would be, it would represent an advance for very, very few women. And we have to say, enough is enough. We will not have another Irish solution, which wouldn't even defend and guarantee women's health will be protected. Lastly, it's been absolutely heartening to see tens of thousands of people taken to the streets in Dublin, hopefully in Galway on Saturday as well. People are invited to attend and to get buses down and to support the campaign in Galway. It's been heartening to see people, young people in particular, taking up this issue. And I'd appeal to anybody who's come out tonight to attend that meeting that Sinead spoke about on December the 8th in the Gresham Hotel. Because if you think this campaign is over, you're very, very much mistaken. The campaign has actually just begun. The fact that we've got them this far is a step forward, because 2 weeks ago when we stood here, they were talking about a ministerial order or secondary legislation. Now they're actually going further. But the only way that they will do what is needed is if there's campaigns built in every town, city and college in this country that organises rallies, public meetings and puts the politicians under massive pressure, because that's the only language that they understand. So please get involved in the campaign. Come out on December the 8th. We have to delete the 8th Amendment out of the Constitution of this country. It's the cause of all of the problems. We need to get it out of the Constitution and to implement measures to defend women's health. We need a separation of church and state in this country. Get the church off the hospital boards, of the schools. They've lost support in society. They do not deserve to have those key positions. We need to get rid of a sectarian state which deprives people of the options outside of what's offered by the Catholic Church. And very lastly is austerity. We will see women showing up in hospitals with botched abortions, with complications very soon, because most women will not be able to fund the journey to Britain, to Holland, etc. that they've done in the last few years, because simply they will not be able to afford it. The safety valve that's been here for the last 40 years will be gone. We have to get rid of the 8th Amendment, keep up the pressure during the campaign.
Okay, the debate is going to begin in a couple of minutes, but just beforehand, there was a group of activists who camped out last night when the debate began to keep the pressure on the government.